I think community engagement is a real strong corrective to academic research. I think it really makes it much stronger. Academics have a tendency to have big ideas about how the world ought to change, but unless they're involved in the real world with communities, and I think of communities as neighborhoods, but also political communities, communities in the business community, unless you're really involved with communities, it's very hard to know whether what you're saying makes any sense in the real world. We rarely talk about public policy in our work without talking to community groups on both sides of every issue, the government entities that are involved, people that are pro and con. It's a critical way to make your research much stronger. Well, I spent a lot of time working on the disparate impact rule and the affirmatively furthering fair housing rule with the Obama administration. And I think listening to the perspective of the financial industry, listening to the perspective of people who lost their homes in the mortgage crisis, I think thinking about trying to find a practical way through that and actually getting a rule passed and made into law. And in the disparate impact case, we have gotten that finally made into a law for the first time in 50 years. And the affirmatively furthering rule is along that path. I think being engaged with all of those communities on both sides of the issue was critical to those ideas becoming the law. You have to go to lots of meetings. You have to go into people's houses and listen to them. You have to, we've spent a lot of time with people squatting in empty houses in South Minneapolis. We've spent a lot of times listening to lawyers talk about what the meaning of statutes are, legal aid lawyers and lawyers for cities, without being involved with people, without hearing their stories, without seeing what their lives are like. It's really hard to both imagine what the challenges that they are facing, but also how they can become involved in some effort to make things less terrible in their lives. I think there's nothing that I feel more proud about than watching these students that I had as young people go off and really make the world better. Nobody works harder than young students on public policy issues that they're excited. No one has the kind of openness, and it's a period in your life when there's an enormous amount of possibility, and you can find something that you really feel passionate about. It can change your life, and it can also change the lives of people all around you. So I've had a lot of students that have gone on to do this kind of work for the rest of their lives, and I think that at the end of the day, there's nothing I feel better about.